You don't.
What's that?
Hello.
Hello, hello. We are just sitting here quietly right now while everybody types into the chat window who you are, where you're from, and what's bringing you to the Creativity Challenge. Just type it in there. You can see what Christina has written, and Pam, and Angela.
I'm going to leave and come back, everybody.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, there you all are. Okay.
So Anne, you are muted.
That won't do.
Not really.
I have a lot to say.
I know. I have notes and everything.
Look at my glasses.
So we are streaming live, and I hope, I'm not so sure about that, and we're also recording, but I really want to welcome you to the Creativity Challenge. I really am committed to starting on time and hopefully ending in 30 minutes, a short period of time with a lot to do. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Ann Marshall. And I am not at all an expert in creativity. I am simply an explorer on the road and the path to creativity. So I'm glad that I've got some fellow journeymen with me. And one of them is also our guest participant, Michelle Zicker, and she is in California. She's known as a fire starter. She actually has a business called the Fire Starter Movement. And her role here is to help people get lit up around creativity and to keep people fully engaged. So I'm excited that you're here. Anything you want to add about that, Michelle?
I was just thinking, you know, I was inspired to pull out my manifesto, the Fire Starter Movement, an uprising of people lit up, fired up, and fully alive. Fire starters beget fire starters because you ignite the moment with your example of living ecstatically and in momentum and inspire those around you to do the same. That's just a tiny piece of it. But that's really my relationship to this idea of creativity. It's part of that life force, you know, like enriching life force.
That's so perfectly put. I really appreciate what you just brought there. So let's just do a few housekeeping issues. And one has to do with the speaker view. So I don't know if your toolbar is going to be above or below. It depends upon what apparatus. But if you do speaker view, you'll see everybody all lined up in a thumbnail. And no, I guess if you do gallery view, that's the way it appears.
There it is.
But if you press on speaker view, then you'll see the person who's actually doing the speaking taking over a larger percentage of your screen. So I tend to leave it on speaker view, generally speaking, no pun intended. If you have a technology problem, you can put it into the chat. I'm going to try, because of the short time frame, not to deal with technology. However, if you private message me or text me, we'll get it resolved before the next time. And this recording will go live on our private Facebook page, so you won't miss anything. I just gonna try to want to not get bogged down.
So Anne, I'm going to mute all, and then you unmute yourself.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, thank you. And then along the way, you can use the chat. And that's located down at the bottom, or at least on my device it is, where it says chat. And if it says to everyone, then everyone can be broadcasted that message. And you can write comments or questions or resources or whatever. If you have something you want to say to somebody privately, you can do the little arrow down on everyone and find that person's name and send them a private message. We also have the private Facebook link, and that's at the very top of the chat. I put that in right out of the gate there. And that's where we're going to do our show and tell. There'll also be resources there. That's under units. There's already a couple of things there. There's some stepping stone instructions that my very dear friend Debbie, I think she's on the call, she wrote in an article for the Atlantic Journal, and that was for you, Michelle. And then I put in something really great, which has to do with a creativity autobiography by Twyla Tharp. That's on there, and we can use that to kind of keep a lot of action and stimulus available. Now, this is what I want to call a safe space, because that's where creativity is nourished. So by that, I mean, if someone asks for feedback and asks for opinion, then feel free to provide it. Other than that, just make your comments not opinion oriented, not necessarily feedback, but just very encouraging and supporting, because we really want the flourishing of our creativity movement here. And we know that it'll get squashed if someone gets their feelings hurt or whatever. So that's just kind of a guideline that I'd like to bring to the group. And then lastly, in terms of housekeeping, if you do have something going on in the background, make sure you are muted, like if your phone rings or if somebody walks into the room, that sort of thing. So that's the nuts and bolts. And let's dive into some of the meat of the matter. So I'm going to launch a poll here. And that poll is, rate yourself on how much you feel in touch with your creative self. Or I know there's some people who are on this call that are probably super saturated with creativity. You might look at it as to how you've mastered channeling your creative juices. So 1 is low and 10 is high. And if you'll just give yourself a number for where you are today, there's no judgment. We're just kind of taking a pulse, so to speak. And once you've completed that, if you would go to the chat and maybe just write a brief statement. Perhaps you already have, or you'd like to add on to it. But in that statement, if you might indicate what it is, the pursuit that you're after with this challenge. What would you like to see happen? Where are you in that creative process? And just a couple of words about where you are at this moment. While people are finishing up on that, is there anything you want to add to that, Michelle?
I just really value what you were saying about, as a collective, that this is a place where we're really fostering creativity. So it's not about doing something right or doing something wrong. It's like, it feels like it lives outside those rules. And so much of our world feels like it's like that, right or wrong. This is just about opening that part of us that I think can be so easily discouraged, and just fostering anything moving in those channels of creativity, beauty, imagination, all of it. So I'm so glad that you made that like a primary principle of us.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. So can you all see Michelle, can you see the poll on here?
I can, yeah. And I'm assuming you just click on the number.
Right. So, and the results, I didn't know if you can see them. So we're having 18% rate at a level 2, 24% at level 3, 24% at level 4, 18% level 5. So a lot of people in that 3 to 5 range, and a level 6 is 12%. So we range from 2 to 6 on that scale. Oh,
and this is what I think we would love to see where you end up. So make a note for yourself what number you had just identified for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, we'll do another poll, and you for yourself, you can see how much has changed.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's great to record that. And then, oh, so there it is. You can kind of see where we're at.
Oh, you muted yourself, Ann.
I love the comments along the way here. We've got quite a variety of interests that are going to be revealed along the way. So very exciting. So I'm going to stop sharing that poll, and thank you for doing that. Okay, so what does it mean to be creative? And there are people here who have been, I'll say, creative maybe all their life. It's just a real natural propensity. Maybe it was fostered and facilitated in your upcoming and environment. And then there's other people that have admired people like that, or have dipped and dabbed. Maybe they've done some stuff, maybe they've stopped, maybe they're looking at returning. And there's, people who just are looking at, well, what is my relationship with creativity? And how can I improve upon that? So if you're asking yourself, am I a creative person, or considering becoming a creative person, it's actually too late, because you already are. You were born with that. Everybody is. So that's just a real natural propensity that we have in being humans, is to be creative. And how you foster that and nurture that is maybe more of the question. And it's not only about art. And I kind of think that there may be some people that are in that mindset, but it's really about creativity. And perhaps we could even replace art or creativity with the word imagination. And that might open up things for a lot of people when you really look at it as to, what's my relationship with my imagination? How much free rein does my imagination have? Where do I unleash my imagination, and where does that get expressed? So living creatively means not necessarily following the crowd. It might mean thinking outside the box or getting outside of a rut. It can be being open to new things and to learning things and to really embracing your imagination. Creativity is for business people who want to close a sale. It's for scientists and engineers who want to solve a problem. It's for parents who are looking at showing their children a different lifestyle, a different world. Everyone has talent. And it's really how we have the courage to follow that talent, to see where that talent and that energy behind the creative source brings us. Creative thinking happens in most people, but what really differentiates between the productive artists, and I might make a new word, and that's a creatist. So someone who creates is a creatist. Someone who does art is an artist. So creative artists and creative people all are compelled to do something. It's kind of an innate sense of a must in some aspect. And here you are in this challenge component. And they're not looking at necessarily having to have the right tools or having to have the right answer, or thinking that they're not ready. The productive artists and productive creatives just show up. They make it happen with what they have in terms of their resources. One definition of creativity might be the relationship between a human being and the mysteries of inspiration. And that comes from Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote a wonderful book, The Big Magic, and that will go up on the resource list in the next day or so. And Twyla Tharp is a dancer and choreographer, and she said, in order to be creative, you have to know how to prepare to be creative. Prepare. How do you manage the environment? How do you cultivate the soil to develop that creativity? And that's something that really takes some attention. And here we are, we're on this challenge. So the nature of a challenge, what does that mean? And what are you bringing to it? And what do you want to get out of it? So personal challenges are the backbone of developing your creative, artistic voice. And maybe you're looking at focusing on our time together on a specific project or a body of work or practicing a technique or a particular medium, and that will help your skills and your style develop. Undertaking the personal challenges also takes the preciousness out of our thought process. So with the time that we're together, we're not looking at creating something that will be installed in the Smithsonian. It's going to turn out however it turns out. It's the process, not so much the product, that the learning occurs. So we might end up with something that's we want to toss in the garbage or we don't necessarily really like. However, it's that kind of journey that will really lead us to what's past some of those judgments and thought processes that go on. So the nature of a challenge is being outside of what you already know. Maybe it's being outside of what you've already done. So what would happen if you created a broader experience of creativity? How can you get out of your comfort zone? And the ability to grow is actually directly proportional to the ability to entertain that discomfort. So consider that when you're looking at who am I during this challenge. The wonderful thing is that we have a deadline, and deadlines are very productive, and they put some constraints on it. And constraints can actually enhance creativity. So we're meeting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 3 weeks, and then we end on a Monday. So it's essentially 3.5 weeks. So I encourage you to really use this time to maybe immerse yourself in this whole thought process of what does it mean to be out of my comfort zone? What does it mean for me to do something that I've not yet done? How can I enter the unknown? So think of it again, maybe as an imagination challenge. How can you bring imagination into more of the time throughout your day? How can you weave it into how you brush your teeth or how you set up your exercise routine? It can be really endless. And what might that do if you stimulate continuous areas in this respect? So for those people who are not sure what they're going to do, maybe you could take a look at what interests you, what calls you, and maybe make a list of it. Maybe it's the color purple. Maybe you've thought about growing an herb garden, or maybe you used to enjoy going to the hardware store with your father. You know, any of these types of things that you can recognize might give you a glimpse as to what's the perfect thing for you right now to explore. And it could be research, it could be a one project thing, it could be inserting more creativity throughout your day. It's really endless in terms of possibilities. So these are some questions that I'll pose to you, and in a couple of minutes we'll do a breakout. And on that breakout, hopefully that will go well, we can get a little bit more meat underneath our words here. So what are you willing to take on? What would you like to have happen? Is it going to be lifestyle related, or is it project related? Can it be measurable? How would you know how you did? What would increase your score at the end? Is it experimental, like you're going to throw creative spaghetti on the wall and see what happens? Or is it going to be routine or habit oriented, like trying to insert more of a discipline around creativity into your daily life? Is there a new medium or form of expression you would like to try? Or maybe doing an old familiar medium or expression with a new twist? Or in what way can you say yes, a big, bold yes to something that's beyond where you've been? How does it make you feel comfortable, or what would make you feel uncomfortable? And are there areas of your life where you'd like to insert more creativity? So those are some of the questions for fodder. And we're going to split out into breakout rooms. And what that means then, in a moment, you'll be asked to join, and just press join. I'm hoping for 3 people in each group, and we'll do 2 minutes a person. And you should be instructed when to change times. We'll see how that goes. It'll actually be 9 groups. And when you join the group, you'll also need to turn on your microphone. So before we do that, do we have any questions? Okay, so just if you have an idea of what you're up for, then just share that. And I'm doing the breakout rooms now. Okay.
Hi, Ann.
Hey, is that Karen?
Yes, hi. I'm with Patricia and I can't connect with her. And I don't have my picture. I don't know why. I normally have picture on a Zoom call, but more than that, I just don't hear her. I just see one other person, Patricia.
Okay. Oh, that's
Can you hear me, Patricia? She might be on mute. Although it doesn't say mute under her picture. Maybe switch to active speaker. Oh, that's you. Hi there.
It might depend upon the device or the age.
Oh, Patricia's saying she can't unmute her microphone.
Okay. Okay, so then Karen, do you just want to tell me what your thought process is around what you would like to accomplish?
Well, my thought process is as I said on the Facebook page, I've had this project for about 10 years. And everywhere I go traveling, I take it with me to work on it. I never do it. It represents kind of a failure to me.
Hmm.
So I want to just have a success. I want to get it done, and say, all right, done. That's what my biggest purpose is to get, it's like a little bit of a hurdle,
Gotcha.
get it done.
And what is the nature of that project?
Finish a quilting piece, hand quilting piece from a workshop I took about 10 years ago from Ruth McDowell.
Mm-hmm.
It's my project piece that I want to complete. It's about half done.
Okay.
Complete hand quilting.
So, what would be the structure to get that done?
Every night I tell myself I should be quilting. I should be sitting here with some handwork. So the structure to get it done would be to go into my studio during the day and draw out the lines. Each piece is quilted a little differently, each component of it. And mark it, have it ready for quilting so that I can sit in front of the TV and do it each night. It'll go pretty quick once I do that. It's just a little bit of discipline to do it every day, to mark it and be prepared for sitting down in the evening and doing it. So that's what I want to do.
And so when would you be working on the marking and setting it up?
I think it would be best to do it the first thing in the morning. I usually get up varying times, usually between 7:30 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
And get up, get a cup of coffee, and come in here and do it. Start working on it. Get it ready for that. Maybe I'll work on it during the day, but I want to. Part of the goal too is to be a little more, not productive so much, but do a little bit more handwork in the evening. It's always been a kind of a mini goal to have some handwork or have something going in the evening because I like it. It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
So I could easily do that, for an hour in the morning and get it ready, and then go along with the rest of my day because we always sit in front of the TV and watch movies and together, my husband and I, in the evening.
Right. Yeah. Well, that sounds great. Consider using that Facebook private page as a way to kind of just check in and say what you've
Yes.
done along the way.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay. And definitely show a picture of the progress that you've made.
Yes, I'll do that as well. I meant to send you, well, anyways, that's aside this project, never mind.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I have a good plan in mind, and hopefully, after this experience, I can use the same structure to tackle the next
That's great.
UFO,
That's
to use
great.
that format
Yes.
to do the next one.
Yes. And Karen, I'm going to bring everybody back. So
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you still there, Karen? No. Okay. All right. Whew. That was a lot in a short period of time.
That was great.
We had a couple people with some technological problems. That's always frustrating. Okay, so we should be coming back in here. And is there anybody that would just like to say something around what their experience was? Maybe they had a little bit of aha or some forward movement, or anybody really still struggling or with a big question, and we'll close out with someone who would like to share something. If you want to go to the, where's raise your hand? If you,
Raise your hand is, where did it go?
if you want to just, for the
It's
sake,
under participants.
yeah, yep. So, yeah, for the sake of time, if you just want to unmute yourself and say something, would love for someone just to share their experience.
Looks like Pam Mick.
I just want to say my small breakout group was great. A lot of ideas they knew I didn't know, podcasts that they knew that I didn't know. Just really open to sharing, and I think that helps everybody's, file cabinet add to that energy. So thank you very much. It was great.
Good. So you've got a little something more to go with.
Yes, I do.
All right, so we're gonna close here and think about using that Facebook as a way to ask questions, again, post resources, track your progress. Certainly if you get into quandaries or questions or dilemmas, that's a wonderful place, and then we'll rejoin here on Wednesday. And anything else from your end, Michelle, that you think?
Well, the Facebook is also a place where we can do some show and tell. So post the images of things that you're working with. That will be a really fun place to be able to show each other what we're up to and inspire each other.
That's fantastic. Great, great point. Thank you very much, everybody. Great job, and may the creative forces be with you.
Yay! Woo! See you on Wednesday.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Daddy.
Thanks.
Stop video. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Lori, thank you.
Bye.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi from Indiana.
I love it.
Yep. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did you end the recording? Did you end the recording and the live stream?
I have to figure that out. Hold on.